This is Kazim Sayed, and I welcome you all at Wonderful Morning. And today we will be listening to uh, Professor Dr. Ekena, who will be talking about how to improve your academic research writing with ChatGPT ethical approaches. And I'm really thankful to the our distinguished guest who has spared his time to speak to you guys. Let me just introduce you. Dr. Ekena is an individual with wealth of education and professional accomplishments. He graduated with a degree in architecture and civil engineering. Later, he earned his master's and PhD in civil engineering. His research interests involve around construction material and computer applications in civil engineering, particularly computer vision, object detection, optimization, and prediction modeling. He has published notable research outcomes in these fields, particularly in construction material and computer application in civil engineering. So today I welcome you all and Dr. Ekena at this webinar. So I present you Dr. Ekena.
Thank you, Kazim. Thank you, Kazim, for that. I will go straight to the webinar so that we're not going to, because we're going to have spend so much time during the practical approach we're going to do. So I'll start with the presentation. Okay. Today's webinar will be on improve your academic research writing with ChatGPT, the ethical approach. I believe that most of our viewers must have seen a lot of uh, uh, recordings or webinar on this using ChatGPT on research writing and all that. But I want to look at uh, this webinar focus on the ethical approach because these days we now have journals trying to ensure that people do not using AI should be in an ethical approach manner. So let's go with the first table of content we have. We're going to look at overview of ethics in academic writing, and then we look at overview of AI assistant in our society because the ChatGPT is an AI, so we're going to look at some overview of generally AI in our society, and of course we go into the main topic of today, the ethical application of ChatGPT in academic writing. So, what if one is asked, what are the ethics? The ethical consideration that should be considered in writing. First, we have to look at the properties of a good academic writing. For a good academic writing, one, you consider the vocabulary, the punctuation, the referencing, and the originality. You consider the purpose, the synthesis, the language, the grammar, quoting, the structure, and of course the targeted audience. These are the properties that one looks at when considering writing. When you say this is a good academic writing, and we're going to see where ChatGPT can be applied in this academic writing, and of course the which app where you can apply it that is ethical, and where you're going to apply it that is not ethical. So first, the next step is that let's look at manuscript preparation process, because in the previous slide we saw all the attributes of a good academic writing, but now let's look at manuscript preparation process. In general, this is not an this slide doesn't mean that this is the acceptable way, but this is general approach that could be used in preparing manuscript preparation process. The first part is the writer or the authors will do some brainstorming and then write something. This is where the authors take a cup of coffee to do some brainstorming and pencil down some of the ideas they want to go into, and they start writing. Then, in most Some authors will just have a skeletal writing here and there and the rest of them. Then they move to the second stage, which will be structural editing. And here the authors will check for accuracy of their writing and the consistency, whether the connectivity between the previous part and the next part and all that. So, and then the author will go into copy editing, and here the authors will check for details, minor structuring, rewriting, fact and referencing checking, and all that. Now, the authors will now go into the authors will now go into proofreading, which by this time they must have um, the whole idea. They have already penciled down the idea for the manuscript, and then they will check for consistency, terminology, abbreviation, style checking, and all that. And of course, the final copy, which is the final stage, the author will also check, do another checking of checking grammar, spelling, ensuring that punctuation is correct, and it's consistent throughout the paper, and then ensure that the final copy is free of error. So we're going to see how we're going to apply ChatGPT in this manuscript preparation, and of course, and then which, if we use it, is it ethical or not ethical? Now, let's look at overview of AI in our society. AI, artificial intelligence, as we all know, is everywhere in our everyday. As long as you are using an electronic device, you will see it in home automation, personal productivity, customer service, healthcare, education, and we can see here the evolution of some AI assistants. In fact, in most cases these days, you find out that you for those of us using Android devices or or Gmails, you find out that you receive an email or you receive a text, you see kind of a short-term reply, a proposed short reply option that you could use, okay, something like okay, thank you, or noted, something like that. These are AI assistants that we have been using in today's world, and it's in some cases they are handy in ensuring that our day-to-day activities run smoothly. So let's look at overview of AI language models. We have the ChatGPT 3, and of course in 2013 the ChatGPT 4 has been released. It is developed by OpenAI. ChatGPT is developed by OpenAI. It's a language model that is capable of performing a wide range of natural tasks such as language translation, text completion, and sentiment analysis, and the rest of them. You still have the BERT developed by Google. You have the Transformer SL, you have the SLNet, and you have the T5 that also developed by Google. These are few, or one of the few language AI out there, and today we're only going to focus on application of ChatGPT. Now, here we have the for the past 14 months, if we take into consideration 2022, you see the evolution of AI, what has been done, and the new upcoming AI, and the rest of them. This slide stopped at timeline stopped at August 2022, which means it's almost getting to 1 year. And we're going to see beyond that what has happened in the industry, in the language model industry. And here we have up to 2023, we can see the evolution of AI. We can see that a lot of language model, AI language model has been developed. And then, of course, ChatGPT is still in the lead, and ChatGPT 4, we can see it here also in the lead. And we have a lot of other AIs that could do or some of the things that ChatGPT can do. Okay, now let's look at the ethical approach. Now, the question is, I've watched some of the ChatGPT application in the manuscript preparation in recent time on YouTube, and then I asked myself, is some of the things that have been talked about, are they ethical? Because we're going to look at one of the concerns most of these journals are raising. Now, for brainstorming and writing, this is where you're going to write what the idea that you are trying to write, or something like you're doing an experiment, or you're conducting a survey and the rest of them. You're not going to send a chat. You're not going to send an AI to conduct a survey, or you're not going to ask an AI to manufacture survey answers and the rest of them. Here, ChatGPT or AI, if applied in this area, then the ethical it's going to violate ethical approach. But however, during our simulation process, I'm going to mention quite a few parts in of number one where ChatGPT can be used that is ethical. Take for example, for a new project graduate student who is trying to brainstorm on the topics that is out there that he or she can work on, or he or she can follow the path. He or she can be able to ask the AI to list the possible options of topics that is relevant to a particular subject, or a particular context. It doesn't violate it doesn't violate the ethics in a manuscript preparation process. For structural editing, yes, one can use AI, because you're going to check for accuracy of your writing and consistency, provided that the AI you restrict the AI from adding its input into your writing. At number three, copy editing, rewriting. Yes, you can, because you have already written the manuscript. You can also uh, employ the AI to do the rewriting. Possibly, you thought that the meaning is not clarity. The AI can also help to provide clarity. And fact checking, possibly you have an idea, you want to find out where exactly it happened. The AI can help you to do some search, and then be able to provide that. And for referencing, of course, you are going to is what you have, the papers that you have written. That's the one you're going to reference. Of course, AI is not going to you are applying AI to manufacture referencing. That is not ethical. So that is why for referencing is not written in red. Every part that is written in red is the ethical approach in applying AI in manuscripts. Of course, consistency in tense, AI can help in doing that. Style checking, AI can also help in streamlining that the entire manuscript is written in one style, and then checking of grammar, spelling, and ensuring that the punctuations is correct and consistent. AI can also be applied in this can also be applied, and it doesn't violate the ethics of manuscript preparation. Now, because of the advent of AI, a lot of journals they have the declaration of a generative AI in scientific writing, and then uh, uh, we're going to see some of the things or when it is carried out. Of course, after the AI must have written that, when you check the plagiarism, probably using Turnitin, you will see where it says that the manuscript has maybe 2% AI content, it has 20% AI content, and the rest of them. So um, this webinar is targeted at ensuring that after you must have spent time in writing that and applying the AI in doing your editing and proofreading, that you don't run in the risk of having an AI input that will show that will imply that you violated the ethics in writing. Of course, I, uh, all this that is the web. This webinar is targeted at is targeted at the editing and services that an author or authors are allowed ethically to outsource it to a third party to assist them in maintaining consistency. So in this aspect, the AI can be used in doing that. While AI is being used in doing that, one should also ensure that the AI that his or her manuscript does not transform into a generative AI writing. So this is what this webinar is going to show us how we're going to curtail that. So we see here we have the AI, what the AI can help us do: vocabulary checking, spelling, punctuation, uh, discourse markers, syntax. We have the clarity, we have the style tone, we have the register and the dialect, and then we have the domain and all that. We can use ChatGPT to be able to ensure that our manuscript, our manuscript does not violate the ethics in ethics in manuscript preparation process. One of the key one each time I use a ChatGPT is to ensure that ChatGPT maintains my linguistic register, because your linguistic register is unique to you. My linguistic register is unique to me. So in linguistics, the register is important the register is important to ensure that this writing belongs to a particular individual. So now we're going to head to the ChatGPT prompt page to do some process, to do some simulation. So I'm going to share the next slide for that. Okay, here we have a window for ChatGPT. You have the chat.open ai.com. This is the window you're going to have after you register, and you can register using your phone number, and of course your email, and then you're going to have this. And on this left panel here, you have your history. And for the purpose of this lecture, I just removed the my previous history, and so that while we are working, we can be able to see how these things works. Now you can ask ChatGPT anything. You can ask ChatGPT, tell me about a Google Google company. So ChatGPT can tell you anything about Google company and the rest of them. And I've seen some individuals saying that you can use ChatGPT to tell you about the topic and give you a reference and the rest of them. In the recent time, as we all know that here this simulation is carried out in ChatGPT 3.5. As we all know that ChatGPT 3.5 is still in its development stages, and you see that there is still some room for improvement, and most of the the referencing that is generated from this ChatGPT. In most cases, you find out that you find out that these references are not exactly correct. So one should ensure that while using this ChatGPT, you have a human you ensure that your human oversight. It must have a human oversight to be able to ensure that you follow the right ethical approach. You don't just leave the ChatGPT to do the whole thing for you. So I'm going to use edit here so that I can be able to copy, put in what I need. Now I have a manuscript. I have an abstract here which I want to. This is an abstract of my ongoing research that I want to ask ChatGPT to do some editing. So what will I do? I will say, first of all, I'm going to give my command. Usually I use a command like topic or request. I use request. What I want my ChatGPT to do, I'll use request. I'll say improve grammar and improve grammar and um, you can, even if you add proofread, it's going to do that. I always use improve grammar only because I found out that if I don't add this only, most times the ChatGPT will add its own understanding of the topic of the sentence and revise it. I don't want it to be revised. If I say revise, then you're going to see, we're going to see the difference between asking the ChatGPT to improve and revise and all that. Then I'm going to say language, which language I want to I can use uh, I would say use British English so that ChatGPT will know the British English and that, and context. I would say context should be uh, concrete material, concrete material research. This is where I want the context to be because you need to do that. Most times, to ensure that it doesn't deviate into getting into me having an AI generative process, I will set priority. I will ask ChatGPT to maintain my linguistic register so that it doesn't maintain my linguistic register so that the it doesn't move, it doesn't change my register so that it's not going to become an AI generative process. So then I'm going to add here document. So mostly I always use this document so that I to tell the document. Then I'm going to run. Now it's going to run that, and then it's going to give me what I give us the give us the improvement. Then I'm going to okay, May 2018. I'm going to open my Turnitin so that I can have I can use that to generate to check the outcome of this process. So I'll create my new uh, assignment on chat. I call it ChatGPT. Of course, I don't want it to be done to repository. I'm going to use five words as five words as threshold, and then I'm going to open that. Okay, now I have my. I'm going to copy the whole of this that has been generated from ChatGPT. Then, for us to see, for us to check that, to cross-check what we have done to ensure that it follows the ethical approach. So, I'm going to share my Turnitin, paste, use copy and paste, and then, of course, here I'm going to put my name, put my initials here, GPT. Then I'm going to paste that and upload so that we check if it gives us AI generative. Going to here, so we're going to check a little bit. Okay, 9%. I have Okay, let me see. I'm going here. Okay. Now I'll need to open the next part. Where is the next? I need to share this second screen for that. So here we have this. We have this. So here we have zero AI. We have a zero AI 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 generative writing. So that means this is free from AI generative writing because of the commands that was given to ChatGPT. Well, I return back here to let's say I return back here to give a different command to ChatGPT. Let's say probably it's going to give. Then I said here uh, revise. I use revise the document. Oh, British English linguistic. So revise the document. Then I ask it to revise the documents. Let's see what it's going to do, and let's see the outcome. Most times, most times I use sometimes I use revise command. You see that this will give you AI generative AI generative comment AI generative content. But because this manuscript is a little bit small, this content is quite small. Probably it might not give us a. I'm going to go back to the second screen, which is Turnitin, and then I'm going to add, because use copy and paste and paste here. And I'm going to use GPT-2, and I'm going to upload that. So let's see how much percent we're going to get from there from AI generative. If it doesn't give, I'm going to get a much larger document to use for that. So GPT-2. I'm going to share the screen for the GPT-2. And what do we have in GPT-2? Okay, still zero. So let me get a much extensive document so that I can be able to see upon, so that I can be able to see probably that will give a much let me see, let me use the introduction part of the document and use revise. First, I'm going to paste this introduction part. I'm going to paste this introduction part so that uh, upload and paste. Can view GPT-3. Okay, upload. Confirm. Go to inbox. So let me see how many percent they have here. Okay, GPT-3 is 1%, so let's confirm that the original file is free from that. Well, it says 5% AI generative. That wasn't done with AI anyway, but in any case, we're going to see, we're going to check, do the revision for that. So I'm going to do revise. Let me do the second part, which is here, and edit this one, and then I'm going to replace this with the second document. And because I asked revise, so let's see how it's going to be. The previous one was 5% AI generative content. So I'm going to check what the new document, how much percent is going to give. So the ChatGPT is revising the document according to contents and manuscripts, concrete material, research, and priority. Maintain my linguistic register. Okay, I should have maintained my linguistic register. So let me remove that because see, maintaining my language maintaining my linguistic register ensures that AI doesn't go beyond that. So I'll remove this. So then I'll do a new generation, a new proofreading. So let's see how this is going to work out. Now, putting the command that maintain my linguistic register ensures that even while the AI is doing the revision here, revising the document, AI does not use its own linguistic register to revise the document. It maintains my register in the process of maintaining my linguistic register in process of editing my document. That way, it's not going to be AI generative content. But if I remove maintain my linguistic register, then it becomes AI will not be free to use its own register to revise the document, and that way it becomes when you put it in a plagiarism checker like Turnitin, then it will now show that that the document is an AI generative writing. So I'm going to copy here, then I'm going to share my screen for Turnitin. So for number 4, I'm going to call this yeah, I'm going to call this GPT 4 and goes can initials load. And okay, here it comes. Go to inbox, refresh. So I have GPT-4. It says 3%. GPT-3 and GPT-4 is the same content, but now it's 3% plagiarized. So we're going to see the difference in the plagiarism. Same document, but after AI revised it, it becomes a 3%, 3% 3% plagiarized. However, it turns from 3% AI generative to 0. So one point I want to point out is this, probably because this document I've already actually sent it to a proofreader an English editor who edited it. That was why I have this. I have the document is not showing is not showing most of this. So that means AI is not actually doing much on that. So let me get another document that someone in the previous lecture that I gave on this, an individual uh, sent me a document he was trying to check, and then after he checked it, he said that it's showing AI generative documents. So how is he going to correct that? Let me paste that. I have his permission to use that, so I'm going to paste it here. So here, revise documents. Okay, here there's no content and all that. So revise documents use AI, use this. So I'm going to submit and open here, turn it in, and okay, go GPT-3. Okay. Still. Okay. Let's check here the document and see what we have for this particular document, and then we're going to check how much of that becomes AI generative and uh, AI generative content. So we're going to check which of that. Actually, I name it I name it GPT-3. So I'm going to check. Okay, still at zero. Okay, now it's still at zero. So let me just drop the document again for revising. Just drop the document as revising, revise the document with minor changes. Okay, now it's doing what it feels kind of that it should do to the document. So now I paste the document without command. Let's see how much AI generative content that is going to show us here now. Copy and paste. And you 5 paste and upload. Okay, confirm. Go to inbox. Okay. Okay. Now, so this having using ChatGPT to do word editing, as we saw in the slide, using ChatGPT to do word editing, checking accuracy, consistency, and grammar, and the rest of them. These are the ethical. This is it does not move into it does not account for I mean it's not part of AI generative AI generative content. Take for example the earlier slide we saw, the construction building construction and building materials. They actually spelled out that authors should only use these technologies to improve readability and language. So where you use this AI to only apply it for readability and the language for clarity, it's not going to violate the ethics of writing. But where I have this document, then I'm asking the AI to, I ask the AI to, where am I? Here, then I ask the AI to, let's say, the ethics is where people now ask AI to write topic, write about requests, write about traffic, traffic congestion, and then say, okay, or let me use the previous one I was working on, write about concrete carbonation, concrete carbonation, then context, then I'm going to say, okay, natural concrete carbonation and hydration, hydration, mechanism, and then I ask the AI to generate this. So now this part is where it is not ethical because this is actually AI generated content. So in this aspect, one this is where the journals are asking are saying that you using this violates the ethics because, for example, AI is just writing the whole of this and telling me that the hydration on the other hand is the chemical reaction that occurs when water is added to cement mix, of course, and then that leads to the formation of calcium silicate hydrate, which gives the concrete the strength that is required, and of course you also have the other content, the other component that is precipitated during this process. Now, for this particular one, this is pure AI generative content, so we're going to check it on Turnitin and see how what will happen here. GPT-6. So I'm going to paste that and we're going to see the difference. The previous ones uh, that I checked in Turnitin. Those ones are the the ones written by human. Only thing I ask AI is just to correct the punctuation, correct the grammar, check that the spellings are okay. But in this case, now I have a different one that is 100% AI generated. And then I'm going to ask the AI to check that for me. So we can see from here that it tells us that it is 100% AI content. So this is not ethical. This is where the journals are telling us that in this case that one should not use this particular approach in applying the language models in 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 using language models in editing or in manuscript preparation. So for manuscript preparation, you use AI to just generate the content. That is not ethical. And the other aspect that I talked about that we can use AI to for the first part, which is brainstorming, and the rest of them is this. Okay, take for example, let's take for example, I have that I want to. I'm a new graduate student or a master student, a PhD student. Then I'm thinking of a topic that I want to work on. Then I can say request. Then I can say request uh, list list possible PhD title, PhD title related to concrete carbonation, concrete carbonation, and cementitious cementitious hydration. Then I can say also And as I can say also, this is my request. Then I can say uh, context is uh, uh, PhD research. PhD research. I can say is a PhD research PhD research topic. Then I can say priority. I can also add that let's say also um, uh, also um, give also give brief brief methodology on how to achieve it. Now, here I'm just asking for If, I'm just asking for a topic to list the topic and brief methodology on how to achieve it and the rest of them. So it's going to go out there, tell me, investigating the effect of curing condition on carbonation. This has been done extensively, enhancing the durability by optimizing the microstructure through the cementitious hydration. Yes, this is still ongoing, and the rest of them. Understanding the influence of supplementary materials and combination resistance. This has been done. Developing a sustainable approach to reduce the carbon footprint and cementitious material through combination. Yes, this is still ongoing because we still have we still have a lot of work being carried out there. So this is another ethical approach in applying ChatGPT in academic writing. So I don't know if I have questions from the audience. I can take that if there is no question. I don't know if there is a question that I can take. Uh, Hello, Kazim. Do I have a question?
Yes, there is one question. Uh, it's not directly related to ChatGPT. It's more. Let me just read it out. What is the main difference between Bing and the ChatGPT?
Bing.
Bing. I mean, the question is that what's the difference between Bing AI and ChatGPT like AI? Which one is more?
ChatGPT.
Mhm.
If I could see the word, probably take for example the birds and the other ones. These are different language models and the rest of them. How can I use them? I always like to use calculators and to make explanation like this. It's like one having a Casio calculator and the other one having a Samsung calculator. It's all the same thing. If both of them are AI, since both of them are AI, it's like using Samsung phone to make your call or using an iPhone to make your call. They are all same thing, trying to get you across there to make calls and the rest of them. So take for there are a lot of language models out there that one can apply. And the leading one is ChatGPT. That's why everyone is talking about ChatGPT. And the second part in ChatGPT is that ChatGPT 3.5 is an open source AI which everyone can use for free. The ChatGPT 4.0, ChatGPT 4 is not open source. The subscription starts from I think $20 a month, and it's much faster. It's much faster and more accurate than ChatGPT 3.5.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and very informative webinar. If anyone missed the full webinar or was not able to join earlier, you can always watch the full webinar on our website. All you need to do is just register on estudybox.com. And if you like a certificate for this course, you can always pay on the website and get a certificate. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us. And thank you very much, Doctor, for sparing some time with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chi, for having me.